Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about how a country with over a billion people actually works? I mean, really works. Think of it like a computer's operating system. This incredibly complex architecture running in the background, making everything happen. Well, today, we're going to pop the hood on India's operating system and explore the architecture of the Indian state.
So let's start with a basic question, but one that's super important. We throw around words like country, nation, and state all the time, right? But in the world of political science, a state is something very, very specific. So what really is the difference between a country as a place on a map and a state as a concept?
You see, it's not just about land and people. A state is the whole system. It's the organized political machinery, that whole web of rules and institutions that has the authority to govern a population. It's basically the engine room of a nation.
And here's a classic definition from J.W. Garner that really nails it. He breaks it down for us. You've got a community of people on a fixed piece of land who are independent from outside control. And this is the key part. They have an organized government that people generally obey. This gives us all the ingredients we need.
And those ingredients give us the four essential pillars. First, you need people, the population. Second, you gotta have a defined territory. Third, you need a government to actually run the show. And fourth, the big one, sovereignty. That's the supreme, final authority to make decisions without anyone from the outside telling you what to do. If you're missing even one of these, you don't really have a state.
Okay, so that's the theory. But let's get real. How on earth do you take those four elements and build a functioning system for a country as massive and diverse as India? How do you even begin to design something that works for over a billion people?
Well, you do what any good architect would do. You start with a master blueprint, a detailed plan that lays out the entire structure, sets all the fundamental rules, and defines the ultimate goals for the entire nation. And for India, that blueprint is the Constitution.
Now, where does a blueprint like this get its authority? It's right there in the very first line of the preamble. This isn't a document handed down by a king or some foreign power. It says, "We, the people, give to ourselves this Constitution." Think about that. The power, the authority, it all comes from the citizens themselves. That's what makes it the supreme law of the land.
And this blueprint, it isn't just a boring legal manual. Oh no, it's a vision statement with some seriously ambitious goals. Goal number 1, protect the unity and integrity of the nation. Goal 2, build strong, lasting democratic institutions. And Goal 3, kickstart a social revolution to uplift every single citizen. It's a plan for a whole new future.
Right, so you've got this incredible blueprint. It's visionary, it's powerful, but a blueprint can't build a house on its own, can it? You need builders. So who are the builders of the Indian state? Who are the ones tasked with turning this amazing vision into a reality?
Now, the people who designed this blueprint were incredibly smart. They understood the dangers of power. Just as the philosopher Montesquieu warned, if you let the same group of people both make the laws and enforce the laws, liberty goes right out the window. It's a recipe for tyranny. The only solution is to split up the power. And that's exactly what the blueprint does. It divides all that power between three massive pillars. First, you have the legislature, which is the parliament. They're the ones who debate and make the laws. Then you have the executive, the government, whose job it is to implement those laws and run the country. And finally, you have the judiciary, the courts, who step in to interpret the laws and make sure they're applied fairly.
The genius of this design is that it creates a system of checks and balances. It's not just about splitting up the workload. Each pillar has the power to check the other two. This makes sure that no single part of the government can become too powerful and start to boss everyone else around. It's a design for freedom.
But among these three pillars, one has a very special, almost sacred duty. It's not just another builder. Its job is to be the ultimate guardian of the blueprint itself, to make sure that everyone, including the other two pillars, is playing by the rules of the Constitution. And that guardian, well, that's the judiciary. So how is this guardian structured? It's basically a pyramid. At the very top, the absolute apex, you have the Supreme Court of India. One level down, you have the high courts in each state. And at the base of the pyramid, you have all the subordinate courts at the district level and below. It's one single integrated system from top to bottom. So what's the judiciary's superpower? It's this: judicial review. This is the incredible power of the Supreme Court and high courts to look at any law passed by Parliament or any action taken by the government and ask one simple question: does this follow the blueprint? If the answer is no, if it violates the Constitution, they can declare it unconstitutional and strike it down. period.
Now, why should you care about all this? Because that blueprint isn't just for the government. It contains your personal rulebook too. It guarantees your fundamental rights, things like the right to equality, the right to freedom of speech, and maybe the most important of all, the right to life and personal liberty. And the judiciary's job is to be the ultimate protector of your rights.
Let me give you a really powerful example. The writ of habeas corpus. In Latin, that literally means you may have the body. If a person is detained, a court can issue this order, forcing the authorities to physically bring that person to court and prove, with evidence, that their detention is legal. It's one of the strongest shields we have against illegal imprisonment.
So when you zoom all the way out, you see the full picture. You've got the people, the territory, and a sovereign government, all organized by this master blueprint, the Constitution. That blueprint is then built out by 3 pillars and protected by a guardian, the judiciary. At the end of the day, this entire, massive, complex system exists for 2 simple reasons: to ensure justice and to protect your rights.
But I want to leave you with one final thought. This incredible blueprint was written over 70 years ago. Society has changed, the world has changed, so the big question for us today is what will it take to uphold its incredible promise of justice, liberty, and equality for the next 70 years? That's a question for all of us to think about.